Today, I'd like to introduce my guest today. It is John Carro, a frequent commentator here at Court TV. Welcome back.
Glad to be here.
Mr. Carro has expertise in a number of areas, including medical malpractice and civil law. You also do criminal appeals and comment on criminal as well as civil cases.
Right.
All right. I'd like to ask you first about the insurance policy in this case. There are allegations by the prosecution that Linda Jones had her husband killed in part to collect on 2 insurance policies, the total amount of which valued about $500,000. Now, what if, for the sake of argument, one or both of the companies had paid out that money during the year-long investigation before she was arrested? What if she received that money? What could the insurance companies do once she's arrested and perhaps accused of being the cause of his death?
Well, I'd say a relatively common occurrence. Usually when foul play is suspected, the insurance company will hold back the money, and oftentimes they do when there really isn't a lot of evidence of foul play because there's a lot of money involved, and there's a way the insurance company can get out of it, they'll try. But once you reach a point, and oftentimes the person has to hire a lawyer to force the policy to be given over, once the money's turned over, there still is recourse. The insurance company, if they later find out there was fraud, and this would be fraud because the person was involved in the act, they can sue to get the money back. Oftentimes the money is not there to be recovered, and if you have a chance to get the money back, that means the person's been caught, so chances are there's no longer resources. That person may be going to jail, so it's unlikely you recover the money unless the insurance company picks up on it pretty early in the game.
Maybe there'll be assets that the person owns as a result of having spent the money. They could perhaps seize if there weren't any other creditors ahead of them. Right?
Which is why the insurance company, well, tough to get assets. If you're now on trial for possibly murder, a lot of your assets are going to pay for your defense. So the insurance companies have a hard time getting that money back.
Another question I had was regarding the defense in this case. One of the arguments the defense is making is that the police and the prosecution had tunnel vision. Right. This term rush to judgment, which has become so popular after the O.J. Simpson case, applies in this case in terms of what the defense is arguing. Look, they just very quickly pointed the finger at Linda Jones and looked for evidence, basically, right, to incriminate her. But it's not unusual, is it, to look at her given what was going on in the marriage?
No, I'm sure once the police found out what the household situation was like, it seemed that she was an obvious suspect. Other than the few breaks that they got in this case, there was no other obvious suspect here. I mean, there were signs pointing to a burglary or a robbery, but there weren't any real clues there, so the only hot information they had was to kind of keep an eye on the wife and dig further there.
Well, we'll just have to see how things unfold. We're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we're going to listen to the testimony of one of the men who says he was in that house, a participant in the crime.